State regime media known as Fox was in full panic mode last night as Donald Trump announced that he negotiated a ceasefire between Israel and Iran. Israel and Iran didn't seem to be engaging in a ceasefire. We saw ballistic missile wave after ballistic missile wave sent by Iran attacking Israel. We saw Israel attacking Tehran, engaging in decapitation strikes. But all state regime media known as Fox wanted to talk about is how their dear leader, Donald Trump, deserved a Nobel Peace Prize. Oh, and by the way, Iraqi military bases were being struck after Donald Trump announced that he negotiated this great ceasefire deal. Well, you had MAGA Republican senators showing up on the Sean Hannity show saying Trump deserves a Nobel Peace Prize. Here, play this clip.
President Trump is going to win the Nobel Peace Prize, no doubt. You look at what he's done with the Congo and Rwanda. You look at where he is with Pakistan and India and what he's done there. And then you look at this. What everyone talked about, but no one thought was possible. He has brought peace to a region that needed stability. He has shown what America First policy actually is. He's made sure that he's preserving American lives.
That was kind of their messaging throughout the day. You had Kayleigh McEnany as well saying that, oh, you try to go after Donald Trump for 34 felony counts. Now give the man 34 Nobel Peace Prizes. Why would you give someone 34 Nobel Peace Prizes? What are you even talking about? Here, play this clip.
So rather than World War III, we may get more peace. And rather than 34 felony counts, President Trump may end up with 34 Nobel Peace Prizes. That was for the leftists. You can clip this and make it go viral and go nuts.
And while Fox was pushing the message that Donald Trump should get a Nobel Peace Prize for essentially announcing a fake ceasefire, we were getting images like this. Massive damage to high-rise apartment buildings in Beersheba in Israel. You can see right here some other images there. You can see over here the third round of ballistic missile strikes by Iran, the third wave by Iran targeting Israel. At the Taji military base in Iraq, believe that Iranian militia groups were targeting the Iraqi military there. And then, as I mentioned, in Tehran, you had Israel striking. It should be noted as well that Donald Trump also gave this 4 a.m. deadline, which was violated by the parties as well. No one was taking Donald Trump seriously at all. I think all sides view Donald Trump as kind of a very weak and pathetic individual whose words mean absolutely nothing. You know, Brett Baer, Fox propagandist, had Donald Trump's VP, J.D. Vance, on the program. And Brett Baer said, you know, you and Donald Trump said that the Iran nuclear program was totally obliterated. Is that true? I want you to listen to what J.D. Vance said. Here, play this clip.
You said totally obliterated. The president has said totally obliterated the Iran nuclear program.
Yeah.
Do you know for sure where all the highly enriched uranium is?
Well, Brett, I think that's actually not the question before us. The question before us is, can Iran enrich the uranium to a weapons grade level? And can they convert that fuel to a nuclear weapon? And we know, based on the success of our mission, of course, the leadership of the president, but the incredible skill of our military, that the two mission objectives are completely successful. We know that they cannot build a nuclear weapon. Now, you asked about the highly enriched uranium.
Yeah, like 900 pounds of it.
But what we know, Brett, is that uranium is something that exists in very large supply. Our goal was to bury the uranium, and I do think the uranium is buried, but our goal was to eliminate the enrichment and eliminate their ability to convert that enriched fuel into a nuclear weapon. I think this is an important point, Brett, because so many of the folks who have focused on the highly enriched uranium,
sure, 60%.
The main focus, Brett, has been to destroy their enrichment capacity, because we don't want that 60% uranium to become 90% uranium. That's the real concern, and that's what was so successful about our mission.
So as our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski, rightfully notes, so the goalposts seem to have just moved again. In addition to the Trump regime essentially announcing a fake ceasefire, now Trump and Leavitt claim the enrichment of uranium was completely destroyed, but now they're claiming, yeah, it's probably buried, but they don't even know for sure. So who really knows? Let's just talk about another fake deal. Let's talk about another fake ceasefire. On the other hand, you had one of Donald Trump's most clownish propagandists in state regime media, Jesse Waters. And Jesse Waters said that Donald Trump's complete and total victory over Iran, which, by the way, didn't happen, sends a powerful message to China, to the cartels. And he goes, even Denmark is on notice. And in trade negotiations, this is how the United States is going to make great trade deals by threatening wars against our allies. Listen to what Jesse Waters has to say. Play this clip.
And China's watching. The cartels are on notice now. And even Denmark probably won't put up much of a fight over Greenland. And even in the trade negotiations, this gives the president a little bit more leverage, because it's not like we're going to drop bunker busters on Germany. But when you are willing to go to this extreme for something you believe in, the people that are at the negotiating table are going to take notice. I'm sure Lutnick is going to exploit this.
One of the things that Jesse Waters announces as well is that during this NATO summit that's going to be taking place, that the international leaders are not going to be meeting with Donald Trump on basically any topic other than one topic, which is the idea of NATO's increased spending. And Jesse Waters views this as like America owning our allies and like America dominating our allies. But no, Jesse, our allies just simply don't want to meet with Donald Trump. They want to keep him out of all of the NATO meetings. But Jesse Waters is either clueless or this is just part of his propagandist shtick. Play this clip.
Senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy with more. Peter.
And Jesse, good evening. A lot of the NATO leaders that are already here in the Netherlands for this summit would rather spend most of the time talking about Russian aggression. Of course, Russia is still waging a war on this continent. But if President Trump arrives tomorrow as scheduled, he's not going to have to hear much about that, because the NATO organizers have slimmed down the schedule. So the only meeting he's really got to attend with the other leaders is going to be about increasing NATO spending. That is something he's been talking about for years. Right now, 22 of the 32 countries meet the current spending goal, 2% of GDP. President Trump is trying to push them to raise it to 5% of GDP. We expect most of the NATO partners to come here and say they will try to get there by 2035, except for Spain. The Prime Minister of Spain says they do not want to up defense spending to ensure protection for countries that are using harsh rhetoric. It doesn't sound like he appreciates the way that President Trump has been talking to the Iranians.
Next, you have MAGA Republican Senator Lindsey Graham. And here, Lindsey Graham says that, what Donald Trump just did is he reversed all the damage caused by Joe Biden. They got to bring Biden into it. Joe Biden's withdrawal from Afghanistan. As Laura Rosen notes, the withdrawal from Afghanistan was one of those things that was, guess what? It was a Trump deal. Trump negotiated with the Taliban and cut the Afghan government out, released 5,000 Taliban prisoners who then took over Afghanistan. And then Trump was too much of a taco. Trump always chickens out to do the withdrawal himself. So he refused to provide any intelligence to the Biden administration when former President Biden won the election, would not give Biden would not share any data, and basically set Biden up. But that was Trump's deal. And as we know, Donald Trump cannot make deals. He just knows how to make fake ones, which another name for that is fraud. Here, play this clip.
So let's put this in context. In a few hours, Donald Trump reversed the damage done to America by Biden's withdrawal from Afghanistan. By destroying Iran's nuclear facilities by using B-2 bombers, helping Israel, but delivering a decisive blow, which was bold and brilliant. President Trump let every other adversary in the world know Joe Biden doesn't live in the White House anymore.
And then you notice even while Lindsey Graham is saying what he's saying on Hannity, he then kind of has this self-reflective moment where he's like, but I guess if Iran still has nuclear weapons and they are able to regroup, I'm not really sure if this was the right decision. Watch what Lindsey Graham has to say. Play this clip.
So what would I say about the ceasefire? If the ceasefire is genuine and will lead to peace, it is a major league accomplishment. If the ceasefire is used to rearm and regroup by Iran, we've gone backwards. How can you determine the difference?
And then you have J.D. Vance also say, one of the things that I think I've realized in dealing with the Iranians is that they don't always keep their word on things. Really? Here, play this clip.
Would you be surprised if Iran is sending out signals that it doesn't have a specific ceasefire plan? How would the communication have been with the Iranians to get this level of confidence to put out that detailed statement?
Well, one of the things I've learned, Brett, about the Iranians in the past, 4 or 5 months that I've been in this job is what they say publicly and privately can sometimes be very different. I think what the Iranians have shown very clearly is they don't want this war to go on for much longer. Their air defenses have been totally destroyed. Their conventional missile program has been largely destroyed. And of course, their nuclear program has been obliterated, as I said before. So I think the Iranians are at a place where they don't want to keep on fighting. You saw the president, and I don't have the truth in front of me, but he talked about the next 6 hours finalizing the attacks. I mean, what I think what he's talking about is right now for the American people watching, it's dark over there. That's typically when the Israelis and the Iranians have been shooting at each other. I think there's some recognition that that might continue for another few hours. And tomorrow really is a new day. The end of the 12-day war, the end of the Iranian nuclear program. And I really do believe the beginning of something very big for peace in the Middle East.
You have MAGA Republican Senator Joni Ernst earlier in the day saying that this is actually not a war at all. What are we talking about? There's no war. Play this clip.
They do not want to see a war. This is not a war. This was a strike on a threat to the United States of America. I would say as well, this is retribution, Harris, for the thousands of American lives that have been taken by Iran through direct strikes from Iran, as well as their terrorist proxies.
Here's MAGA Republican Congressmember Pat Harrigan saying that the way we lower the temperature of global conflict is to escalate. Here, play this clip.
Look, this is certainly a dynamic environment, right? We're trying to lower the temperature of global conflict while simultaneously kind of raising it here in order to lower it. And so I think the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, is exactly right. It would be Iran's worst decision possible to this point. And they've made a lot of bad decisions up till this juncture to come back and attack America or American troops. I genuinely hope that they don't do that, but we'll just have to wait and see here.
And just so you can see what Donald Trump was posting last night, while there were additional waves of ballistic missiles coming from Iran into Israel, and while Israel was attacking Tehran, while there was no ceasefire, in reality, Donald Trump was posting, Israel and Iran came to me almost simultaneously and said, peace. I knew the time was now. The world and the Middle East are the real winners. Both nations will see tremendous love, peace, and prosperity in their futures. They have so much to gain and yet so much to lose if they stray from the road of righteousness and truth. And he puts that in caps for extra emphasis. The future for Israel and Iran is unlimited and filled with great promise. God bless you both. And then earlier, Donald Trump posted, congratulations to everyone. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire. He said back then, in approximately 6 hours from now, when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their in-progress final missions for 12 hours, at which point the war will be considered. And he goes on to make more posts like that. And really nobody was listening to him at all. I mean, at first Iran responded. They denied that there was any agreement at all. Then Israel went silent and they both started attacking each other. I think it lasted about 36 minutes after Donald Trump's posts. But again, I think this also goes to Donald Trump's utter weakness, Donald Trump's fraud, that he just makes up these fake deals. I don't think he's not respected at all, but you see how state regime media known as Fox was trying to brainwash its audience into saying that Trump should get 34 Nobel Peace Prizes. Come on, that's embarrassing stuff. Anyway, hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers, and thank you so much for watching.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.